In this video, we're going to build a really cool AI agent that will have the ability to pull data from the internet or call in a separate workflow that will have an API attached to it. So we're going to build all of this step by step, and I'm going to show you how powerful n8n is when it comes to building customized AI agents and how you can connect several different tools. And obviously you can attach a large language model like OpenAI in this case, or Anthropic, or others as well. I'm going to explain what n8n is and why this is such a cool tool to use when it comes to customized workflows and specifically building customized AI agents, because it gives you the ability to connect different tools and therefore make the AI agent extremely powerful. In our scenario, in this example that I'm going to walk through, this AI agent will independently make a decision based on the question that you're asking it, either to call the Wikipedia tool to grab data from the internet, or call this separate n8n workflow that we're going to build that will be connected to a third-party API app. So this will be a really comprehensive tutorial on how to utilize n8n's different tools and different customizability options to be able to build a really powerful AI agent. All right, let's jump right in. All right, so a quick introduction for n8n. If you're not familiar with n8n is a workflow automation tool, but it's extremely powerful. In my opinion, it's way better than Make.com, VoiceFlow, or all these other automation tools that are out there in the market, and specifically when it comes to building AI agents. So the reason why I really like n8n, and again, I've been building these automation workflows and agents for a while now, and the reason why I landed on n8n and why I think that this is such a good tool is because it gives you really a lot of option when it comes to customizing and being able to provide different tools and attach different apps to be able to really customize your AI agent. Another great advantage for n8n is that you can actually self-host this on your local computer. Again, this is going to be more of an introductory tool. I don't want to go too much deep into that, but on the next videos, I'll be able to build a more complex automation tool or more complex AI agents, where then I'll be able to host or self-host the n8n on my own local computer, where then you basically will have the ability to own all of your data and therefore be at ease when it comes to customizing and uploading your own data. All right, so with that being said, so you can create an free n8n account, and again, you can do a cloud account, so that's going to be the free option. You don't have to worry about self-hosting it for now. We're just gonna go ahead and use their cloud account, but you can, as soon as you log into your account, you'll come into your workflow, and this is basically the starting point. So I'm just going to get rid of this. So if you're familiar with a tool like Make.com, it's kind of similar to that, but it's, again, like I said, there's more customizability option here. All right, so the first node we're going to add is a trigger. And again, a trigger could be something, whether it's a manual trigger. And in this case, obviously I added a manual trigger, but it could be a chat, it could be an email, so you can have different trigger options available. And again, in the future videos, I'll create other AI agents that will have a trigger of an email or a chat or a Slack message. But for this one, we're just going to do a manual when clicking test the workflow. So this is basically as manual as it gets. All right, so let's go ahead and click on this add node button right here. So what we're gonna do is actually go to advanced AI. Again, we'll come back in other videos and take a look at these other options that you can add. Obviously, there's a lot of different options when it comes to adding nodes, but for this one, we're gonna click on advanced AI. And when you click on advanced AI, this gives you all of the different options you have when it comes to the AI tools that you can attach. But we're gonna click on AI agent. And as soon as you click on AI agent, it's gonna pull up the setting and the parameter. We don't have to worry about the settings for now, but parameters, this is where we'll be able to attach actually different tools to this AI agent. So for now, let's just leave this as it is. We need to attach a language model to this. So I'm gonna get rid of this node because automatically it pulls that up. So the first thing we need to do is add a chat model. So if you just click on this plus button or you just drag it. So this is all of the language models that are available for n8n, and they have this integration. So they have obviously the most popular one. They have the Anthropic, you know, your Grok and Llama, the OpenAI chat model. Obviously, I have an account with OpenAI, so I'm going to choose this, but it depends on your choice, you can definitely choose whatever you want. All right, so once you do that, then it's going to ask you for your credentials so you can connect to your API account. Again, you have to have an OpenAI API account, your keys that you need to grab from there, so that way you can add your credentials. So I've already have my account here, but if you don't, you just click on create new credentials. And again, you just have to go to your API account and be able to grab your API keys, or you can create a new API key. The organization ID is optional, but you have to have your API key. All right, so once you do that, you're going to come back and this is going to get, your account is going to get connected here. So the next, obviously, you got to choose your model. Again, I'm going to use GPT-4. And that's pretty much it. So now you have connected your OpenAI chat model to this. And as you can see, this attachment is complete. So another thing we're going to add here is a memory. If you just click on this, so, you know, not to get into too much details into this, but this just basically gives n8n the ability to store your data into your Windows memory buffer, so that way it can refer to your previous chats when you build this AI agent. So we're just going to click on the Windows buffer. Again, you don't have to do much. You don't have to add any credentials or anything like that. You just got to attach it. All right, so the memory is done. So this is what makes n8n really powerful, the ability to add these different tools. So they have a lot of tools available here. So the first thing we're going to add is a calculator. And again, a calculator just gives this AI chat model the ability to run numbers. So if you're asking it a question that requires mathematical operations, then it will have the ability to do that with this calculator. I mean, again, we don't have to worry about it too much. All right, so for the tools, I'm just going to keep it separate. And you can attach multiple tools here. All right, so another tool we're going to add is the Wikipedia tool. Again, if you just click on this plus button, the tool will open up again. And as you can see at the bottom right here, it says Wikipedia. So what this tool does, it gives your agent the option or the ability to have a conversation with you and have access to the knowledge resource of Wikipedia. Okay, so now that our AI agent has the knowledge base from Wikipedia, it means that we can chat with it, right? So right now, as you can see in the bottom here, it just says test flow. Because right now this is a manual trigger, but let's go ahead and get rid of this, and we want to be able to add that chat trigger here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this add first step, and again you can click on that top right corner there as well. And as you can see on the list here, you have that trigger manually option on an app event, on schedule, on a webhook call. But as on the bottom you can see here, it says on chat message, so we're going to click on that. All right, so oops. So let's grab this over here and bring it here. All right, and then let's go ahead and connect this. There you go. So you just got to do is you just got to drag that and connect it to, and you can always delete it from here, this connection. All right, so now that that's connected, so now again, you don't have to do anything here. This is just a trigger. And as you can see at the bottom here, little chat box appears, which means now you have the ability to chat with this AI tool. So let's go ahead and actually do that. First of all, another thing is I always have the habit of saving. So I'm just going to click on save there. That way you don't lose your progress. All right, so now let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm going to come here and chat with this. So I'm going to say, what is the capital of Spain, for example, right? So it should be able to have access to that data via that Wikipedia tool that we gave it. And there you go. The capital of Spain is Madrid. And on the bottom, you can see the log for this message. It means that the AI agent used the Windows buffer. Remember, again, this is just to save, so that way you can refer to it later on. And it used the OpenAI chat model, and it used the Wikipedia tool, as you can see right here, to search for that. And if we get out of this, you can see now that the AI agent used the following tools by looking at this with the little green markings here. All right, cool. Now we're going to add another workflow to this. And what you're going to do is click on this plus button again. Right here it says call n8n workflow tools. What this means is that this gives you the ability to call other workflows that you can create in n8n and attach it to that AI agent. And the way you do that is right here on the workflow ID. You can attach the ID of a separate workflow that you've created. So therefore, this AI agent will have access to that. So let's go ahead and actually do that. So let's go ahead and create a new workflow that grabs weather data using a third-party API. Okay, so let's back out of this for now. And as you can see right now, there's this little error message. That's because there is no workflow connected to this. So in order to create a new workflow, again, you can just go back to your home page and just add another workflow here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right, so now I'm here with my new workflow. So what we're going to do is leave this, the test workflow as manual trigger, and click on the plus button here. And here we're going to grab this data transformation. So when you click, this gives you the option to manipulate, filter, or convert different data that's coming in. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to select this edit field. Again, this is kind of the popular ones, but you can see at the bottom they have all these different data transformation tools that you can attach. And again, in the following videos, I'll kind of go through some of these because they're very powerful. But for now, we just click on this edit field. All right, so we're going to go ahead and change the name here. So I'm going to change this to query. If I can type, oops. All right, so click on rename. We're going to leave the mode as manual mapping. So JSON is, if you're familiar with code, you can actually add the mode via JSON as well, but for now we're just going to leave this as manual mapping. So for the fields to set, so this is where you can grab a field from a previous input, and in this case obviously ours is just a manual trigger. So if you just execute the previous node, it just says when clicking test workflow, because we don't have anything added to this. But obviously if you have a previous node that's attached to it and is doing something, you'll be able to have access to that as well. All right, so now what we need to do is just manually add a field. Okay, so the name, you can name this, again, same thing, I'm going to name it query. You can leave it as string because this is just going to be a value that we're going to provide to our API endpoint in the next node that we're going to add. All right, so for the value now, we're going to add a name of the city. Again, this is just so we can test our workflow. So for now, I'm just going to say San Francisco. That's my city, so I'm just going to put that here. All right, and that's pretty much it. So now let's go ahead and test this step. And by testing this step, you want to make sure that the output is what you're expecting. And in this case, we want the output to be just San Francisco. And as you can see right here, the query is the name of the field, and it's outputting San Francisco based on what we put in the bottom here. All right, so let's back out of that. And as you can see, it's successful. If there was any kind of error, this green box won't appear. It's just going to show the error there. Okay, so now we need to add a node that will have access to weather data, and we're going to do this by grabbing the weather API from a third party. So the way we do that is just, again, same thing, add a node. I'm going to search weather here, and I'm going to use this open weather map tool that they have. And again, this is from a third party, so it just gives you the option as far as the actions. You can return current data or return weather data for the next 5 days. So let's just click on the return current weather data, because we want to be able to have the current data from our query, which is San Francisco. All right, so once you click on that, this will open up your credentials again to connect with. So it's the same kind of concept. You have to go to your open weather map account on their website, and if you click on docs here, this also opens up kind of a guide on how to grab your credentials. So go ahead and do that. Once you do that, again, same thing, you're just going to come here and add your access token, which is your API key. Then at the bottom here, you have your operation, and you're just going to say current weather, 5-day forecast. I'm just going to leave it with current weather. The format you can choose as metric or imperial. Obviously imperial is the Fahrenheit, metric Celsius. So I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Location setting. So this is going to be the city name that's going to be coming in. So the city, this is where we'll be able to grab the city, and in this particular, this field could be, or this parameter could be coming in from our previous node. And in our case, in our previous node, we added San Francisco as our query. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And then if you can see on the left hand side on the input, you have a query that's coming in and it shows San Francisco, right? So there's the schema, there's a table view, and there's a JSON view, right? So if you're familiar with code, you can work with JSON, and that also is very helpful because it gives you exactly the code version of it. But you can just stay in schema, because this, if you're not familiar with code or you're not good at coding, you just grab basically the schema from here. So what I'm going to do is just basically grab this and bring it over here to the city. And as you can see, this converts it into a JSON field, which again is a JavaScript field. So, all right, so that's pretty much, we're done at this point. We're just going to leave the language as English. So let's go ahead and test this step out. And again, I'm going to click on test step. And there you go. So because my API is connected, one thing I want to point out that when you create your Open Weather Map API account, it does take about 5 to 6 minutes for your API key to get operational. So just once you create that account, just be on the lookout there, because if you click on this, it's just going to give you an error. So once you create your account, your API key, just wait a couple of minutes before you test this stuff out. All right, so now let's take a look at the output here. As you can see, it gives us the longitude, latitude, and again, all this data is coming in to us via our Open Weather Map account or our Open Weather API there. It gives you the temperature, what it feels like, pressure, humidity, all of this, right? In a table format. Because your output, you also have the option to have the output in table format, in JSON, or in a schema view. But the table view, this also gives you the data in a really well structured way. And as you can see, the ID and the name is the San Francisco, because this is coming in from our query here. All right, so that looks good. So now let's go ahead and add another field to this, where we want to convert this data that's coming in from this API in this format and convert it into simple text. So that way we can attach it to our AI agent here. So that way it can absorb that in plain text. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and add another node to this. And that node is going to be, again, our OpenAI chat model. So again, we're going to use our large language model to be able to convert this table format output that we're getting from our Open Weather Map API into plain text. So I'm going to go ahead and search for OpenAI. Click on OpenAI, and you have all these different options. You have assistant actions, you have text actions, image actions, audio actions. So it gives you a lot more comprehensive ways to use this OpenAI tool. But I'm going to go ahead and click on message a model. All right, so same thing, your parameters, the credentials is going to be your account. The resource, we're going to leave it as text. Operation, but you do have option to have image, audio file, and etc. All right, the operation we're going to leave as message a model. You can have custom API call, or you can classify the text violation. All right, so now for the model, same thing, we're going to choose from the list. I'm going to use GPT-4. All right, so for the message here, give myself some more room here. So this is where we're going to put our prompt, right? So let me go ahead and put my prompt here so you don't have to see me typing. Okay, so I just basically said, please convert the input from Open Weather Map into plain English with a friendly tone to make it prettier. Use relevant emojis. Again, you can work with the prompt and try to change it based on the result you get to make sure that it's exactly the way you want it. But for now, this is good for this example, right? And the data, so I'm going to say here is the data, and I'm just gonna again grab the data that's going to be coming in from here. So you have several options. You can grab individual nodes. So for example, I could just grab this, and if I bring it here on the bottom, as you can see, it just says json.weather. So this is going to give you the weather there. But if you want to again grab everything and not worry too much about it, you can click on that JSON field here and literally just grab everything, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and like select everything and come here and paste. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and test this out. So on the bottom of the role, you just leave it as user for now. So let's go ahead and test it out. Let's see if this works. And again, all this data here, it's coming in from our previous node, which is our Open Weather Map API that we called to grab the data for San Francisco. And bam, there you go. As you can see on the right hand side here, really cool way to put all of that data and convert it into a message. And again, this is coming in because of our prompt here, right? So same thing, play around here. If you see that, hey, you know what, you don't like some of this, or if you don't like the emojis, just change the prompt to your liking. But for now, this is good to go. Again, this is a table format, but the JSON format gives you a more structured way to see this data. All right, cool. So we're pretty much done from here. So now what we're going to do is add another query to this so that way we can convert this data, because again, like I said, this is still in a format that has the role in it, the content in it, this refusal, all this stuff in there. But what I want to do is just make this really nice and simple so that way we can have access to it with our AI agent. So what I'm going to do is, again, same thing, add another query here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to data transformation, edit fields. And this time I'm going to change this to response. Change the name to response. Cool. And then the same thing, you can just leave the mode as manual mapping. For add field, you click and you can name this. So I'm going to same thing, name this response. keep it as string because we're going to grab the text here, right? And for the value, now all I have to do is just grab this this content here, right? So all I have to do is just, if I go to schema, I can, I can just grab the content. Perfect. Okay, so that's cool. So we're done there. And now let's go ahead and test this out again. So I'm going to click on test app, and there you go. You got the nice response here. This is in a JSON format. Let's go ahead and table, and this gives you you know, the better view that, hey, like this now this message is only coming in from the execution of this workflow, right? And this message is under the response field that we have set. So now what we're going to do is grab this response field and add it to our AI agent, so that way it can have access to this message only when we're chatting with it. So let's go ahead. At this point, we're done with this. As you can see, this is successful. So now we're going to switch to our previous workflow, our AI agent workflow, and we're going to now connect this workflow tool, or sorry, connect this workflow to this AI agent via this n8n workflow tool. So this is what, as I mentioned before, makes n8n really different from other tools, because you can add separate workflows to it. All right, so you can again rename it, but I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Parameters. So let's go ahead and name this parameter. So I'm just going to say weather tool, right? Because again, this is our weather workflow that's coming in from that separate tool there. So I'm just going to name it weather tool. You can name it whatever you want. All right, so for the description, give me a, oh yeah, you're not allowed to have space. So for the description, this is where you want to instruct this workflow, you know, to what to do. So again, it gives you that placeholder. Call this tool to get a random color. The input should be a string with comma separated name. So this is just a placeholder, but it just gives you the format of how to write a description. So what we're going to say is use this tool to get the current weather data for a specific city. And we're going to say input should be the name of the city. All right, perfect. That is good. All right. So now here's kind of the magic. Here's how you attach your other workflows. So you come here and select source database. So if you source this defined below, this just gives you the option to just attach or copy and paste the JSON. So if you're familiar with code, again, same thing. You can just bring the JSON from your other workflows and just paste it here. Or the easiest way to do is just click on database and you can grab the workflow ID. The workflow ID is always, if you just look at the URL on top here, so let's go back here. If I click right here, as you can see, the workflow ID is this ID at the end of it. So, you know, it says aiworkshop.app.n8n.cloud/workflow, and then this is your ID. So I'm just going to click on this, copy, go back here, and paste. Perfect. So now you have your workflow ID for this workflow attached to this workflow tool, which means that your AI agent has access to this workflow over here because we added this tool. All right, perfect. So now we're done. There you go. Now that error disappeared because this workflow tool is now attached to this one because of the fact that we added that ID there, right? Okay, so now let's go ahead and test this thing out, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and click on save. So now if you're asking a weather related question, this AI agent will anonymously decide to grab that data from this workflow tool. But if you're asking it anything non-related to the weather, it's gonna grab that data from Wikipedia. And we're gonna see that in real life. So let's go ahead and start a chat here. So earlier we asked it what is the capital of Spain, and it answered the capital of Spain is Madrid, and it used the Wikipedia tool here. So now let's go ahead and ask it what's the weather in San Francisco. All right, perfect. There you go. Now, as you can see, it's giving us the weather in San Francisco. That is 23.46 Celsius, varying between low, blah, blah, blah. And on the right-hand side, as you can see, it's using our n8n workflow. And if we get back out of here, and you can see right now, it's using this workflow instead of the Wikipedia. And again, if you were to ask it another question about what's the capital of another country, whatever, you will see that it will use the Wikipedia instead of the n8n tool. And this is what gives it that ability for the AI agent to independently decide which tool to use based on what question you're asking. Alright, so hope you found this helpful. This gave you a good idea of what n8n is. Again, in the next few videos, I'm going to do like comprehensive tutorials on other AI agents and building multiple AI agents, or using these other tools that are available in n8n to make really powerful workflows. And then I'll also do kind of like an introduction video of what makes n8n better compared to these other automation tools. So stay tuned for that. Alright, hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.